Hello, my name is Sherrie Munson. I'm an attorney here with Elizabeth Nigro and Associates, and today I want to talk to you about a very hard subject, and that is domestic abuse. One of the hardest questions to ask yourself is my partner abusive towards me? This is a hard question because the person that's supposed to love you, care for you, support you is your partner. Your partner is not supposed to hurt you. It would even be easier and to actually even seek assistance and protection if the person that was hurting you was a complete stranger. Which is why initially, and maybe even now, you're finding ways to minimize what your partner's behavior is. You might be saying something such as, well, it's not like my partner hit me that hard. I just bruise easy. The truth is that even if you bruise easy, your partner still used some form of abuse to hurt you. And in fact, whether it ends up as a bruise or not is not what defines it as domestic abuse. What defines it as domestic abuse is some form of power your partner is using to control you. And I'm using the word partner, and intimate partner is actually a statutory description to define. If we're talking about domestic abuse, it's defined as your spouse, former spouse, fiance, someone you dated, used to date, your co-parent of your child, someone you're related to by blood into the second degree, or in fact that you live together or used to live together. So remember, when I'm using partner, it is really a broad spectrum of people. Also remember that when you define abuse, it's someone that's using some type of power to control you. This power can be in many broad categories. The first power is one of physical abuse that we've been talking about. And physical abuse is push, grab, shove, hit, restraining you in a room. Another form of power is certainly sexual abuse. And then the final third broad category is one of disturbing your peace or emotional abuse. That's threatening to harm you, calling you names in front of your children, financial restraints, anything like that. If you're able to identify your partner's behavior as abuse, this will be a step towards protecting you and your children. But this can be a hard process. I wanted you to consider the following phases to help you assess and determine that your partner's behavior is abusive and what you're doing and ready to do, what steps to take care of you. There are 5 phases that I'm going to talk about, but none of these phases should be considered concrete or a rigid one-way process. It is one where you might skip a whole phase or you might go back and forth between phases. And also, it shouldn't be considered a substitute for support that you might need, such as therapy or support groups. It is one where it's helping you to assess and determine what I'm really emotionally ready to do. The first phase is one of complete disbelief and denial of what your partner is doing. I want you to consider questions that you ask yourself like, it's not like my partner really ever hurt me. He or she hasn't ever hit me. Or perhaps it's not abuse because I've never gotten a bruise. Phase 2 is one more of disbelief. One where you're saying to yourself, if only my partner wouldn't have done that, or if I wouldn't have said that. It's also one where you are saying things to yourself as you're coping to numb the pain. This is one where you might start doing things like using and turning to alcohol to help you out. Phase 3 is one where you maybe have identified your partner's behavior as abusive, but yet it is one where you absolutely can't move forward. You don't see your options yet. This is one where you feel all alone, or you feel that you have no one there you can turn to. Phase 4 is one where you're starting to look towards change, and you're really ready to say, my partner's behavior isn't okay. This is abusive. I have a right to feel safe in my home. Finally, phase 5 is one where you are moving on. You are emotionally growing. This is one where you start to see dreams for your future. Start to take full, solid options. Once you've identified your partner's behavior as abusive, then you're really ready to take steps to protect yourself. And you have options. You have legal options, such as you can file for a domestic violence restraining order, or you can file for dissolution of marriage, and including custody and support. This is a very difficult and stressful time for you, but remember, we are here to advocate on your behalf and to legally support you during this process. This is a hard journey, but we are here for you.